Hello everyone. My name is Ann Nicholson and I'm the Interim Dean in the Faculty of IT at Monash University. It's my really great pleasure to welcome you today to Monash Open Day and to our faculty. And today we're going to be talking to you about what IT professionals really do and what your future in information technology might be. I'll begin by respectfully asking you to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and Boonwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation, the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we're meeting today, and pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Monash University is unique in the group of 8 universities in Australia for having a dedicated faculty of IT, and we've been going for 30 years. It's our anniversary this year, and we're celebrating 30 years of innovation and excellence. Our world-leading dedicated faculty has been recognised in many ways. We rank in the top 100 in the world in computer science and information systems. Across the Australian universities, we're the only university to be rated above world standard in every category in information and computing sciences. We've won awards for being most innovative, and we're really proud of the fact that we have great employment rates in our graduates. For example, 92.5% of our postgraduates have been employed full-time within 4 months of completing their courses. We're also a very international faculty, as Monash is as a university. Monash has campuses and centres all around the world, as you can see on this map. Our staff and our students come from over 90 countries. And what that means is that for our domestic students, Australian students, that when you come to study at Monash, you really experience that diversity of international presence. And it means that you're connected to an international alumni, where wherever you go in the world, whatever your career might take you, you will be meeting up with some of those 33,000 alumni across 155 countries. We also offer a lot of opportunities for study abroad experiences going overseas, and we have many students coming to our campuses as well. We also have a big focus on putting knowledge into practice. So what we have is a range of programs. We have a strong industry-based learning program in our undergraduates where students go on placements for 6 months working in companies, and that's for credit, and a scholarship program. All of our students have an industry experience group studio project, and there's opportunities for sort of summer projects, for example, in the Monash Industry Team Initiative, where students work cross-disciplinary teams and going and working in companies. So there's a booth here at Open Day today in our faculty auditoriums and exhibition centre. Get real world experience. We're also really proud of our world-class teaching facilities. There's some pictures here of our new technology and design building, which is where our faculty is partially located. This is just opened this year. We're really sorry we can't welcome you to Monash campus actually today, but this is an example of the sort of the modern teaching spaces that we offer, because that traditional lecture theatre and sit and take notes, that's not how students learn today. And our buildings and our facilities reflect that modern teaching environment. So what can you expect during this first ever virtual open day at Monash? In the Faculty of IT exhibition hall, there's an auditorium where there'll be live presentations, and here are some of the presentations that will be available over the course of the next 3 days. So have a look and see what might suit you to come along and listen to live. We also have a number of booths. So there's some really fun activities in these booths, and these are a few highlights. The mirror ritual is around an AI system that uses face recognition to detect your emotion and offer you a poem that matches your emotions. You can watch an esports tournament. You can see live demos of our student projects, and you can join in workshops on coding and cybersecurity, get that hands-on feeling for what IT is all about. As well as just seeing about students' projects, you can play games that have been built by our students from our games major. So, look, it's very strange for us all here today to be having open day online. But we're all facing a lot of challenges, obviously, in the current environment. But what we've really noticed is how COVID-19 is really accelerating the digital transformation that was happening already. So what we've seen is that now telehealth, that having an appointment with your doctor online, is now standard. We've seen learning, primary, secondary, and university learning all go online. We're all doing our shopping online. Bit of a highlight for many of us to get a delivery of our online and shopping, especially some of us like me here in Melbourne in lockdown. And of course, we're using the digital tools that we have, like the webinar today, and Zoom and Skype and WebEx and so on, to connect with friends and family. So I don't really need to tell you how central digital technology and IT is to modern life. You're living it every day. Now, in our faculty, we've organised our expertise around departments: data science and AI, software systems and cybersecurity, and human-centred computing. And our academics from these departments teach into the degrees that you'll hear about from me a little bit later, and of course at Open Day: computer science, software engineering, IT, networks and cybersecurity. We also, in our research, we have some focus areas, because of course IT is all about impacting and improving the world and society. So we have a focus on digital health, IT for sustainability, and AI for social good. Now, they're very abstract things, so I thought today I'd just take a few moments to tell you about one of my projects that falls under that digital health and AI for social good theme, just to give you a concrete idea of some of the things that our researchers are working on and that we take and bring to our teaching for our students. So the project, the AID project, is about using AI to better identify cardiac arrest in emergency calls. So a cardiac arrest is when the heart stops beating. Every minute, every second then counts. This project is a government-funded project, and in collaboration with Ambulance Victoria and ESTA. They're the organisation that runs the emergency calls. So this is an example of an industry collaborative project to make a difference. So here's a bit of a tech diagram. Ignore all the details. The idea, though, is if you see up in the left, we've got someone making a call and the call taker, talking to them, trying to find out what's happened. So we get an audio signal, and that's the input to the AI system. And then what comes out of that system needs to be some sort of recommendation or advice about, this sounds like a cardiac arrest, to help the call taker make that decision to, send out the ambulances at that highest priority. So there's a whole lot of AI in there. There's speech to text. There's a dialogue system because there's a Q&A happening. There's been a big thing in AI in recent years called deep learning, which is really when you have a lot of data, you can do this amazing machine learning, and that's like the core technology. So we're using a whole lot of real calls to train this AI system, and we also need to incorporate domain knowledge about what that Q&A guidance is for the call taker. So that's an AI system. What sort of courses might lead to a career building these sort of systems? Well, we have a number of undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. The Bachelor of Computer Science has a data science specialisation, and we have specialist masters in data science and AI. But this project's not just an example of great AI, although it is that. It also really highlights how any real complex system that we want to deliver, even with AI, involves software, design, development, testing, and deployment. This system will be setting up and using speech to text from Microsoft in the cloud, up in the network, up in the internet. There's a lot of work that has to be done on data storage and management, and the security and privacy of people's personal information that comes through on those calls. And of course, their personal medical details are really crucial. So that's when security and privacy is absolutely core. There's a lot of number crunching done in these AI systems. And so we have what's called high performance computing. That's these computers that we access in the cloud that have to do that training of these AI systems. And of course, in all modern complex systems, we've still got that most important human user in the loop. And so the user interface, user experience design of how we feed and interact with those systems is crucially important. So they're all areas of IT that we need to deliver the AI system. So how could you go about learning how to the kinds of things to have a career designing and building this kind of complex IT system? We have many undergraduate degrees and majors, as well as masters, that feed into those different elements I talked about. So I just want to tell you a bit more about the project team. So we've got a number of our academics, including myself, on this team, and we come from all the departments of the faculty, as I said, doing that digital health and AI for social good. And it's just an example of how all Monash academics, because we're a research intensive university, can take that expertise, that cutting edge expertise in AI and software engineering and human computer interaction, and bring it into our teaching. Also, Michael Wybrow is the director of the IBL program. He's also going to be at Open Day telling you about that real world experience that you can get during your degree. So, I also wanted to mention here, this is a picture of the Zoom call. This is me with the project team on Thursday. So we have a software engineer and a business analyst working with our researchers to build that real world system. And of course, we're working fully online. So that really brings me to, what skills do our IT graduates need? Now, of course, you need great technical skills, but IT changes. The programming language, the software and the systems, they change all the time. So you need to be able to learn new systems throughout your career. So the real focus and what we really try and add is those fundamental problem solving and analytic skills, and then the soft skills, the communication skills, that ability to work in diverse and distributed teams, as I'm doing right now on that AI project. So Monash as well has a lot of ways in which you can combine your core studies with another area, whether that's a double degree or by taking what we call majors from other areas. So there's a number of options of doing that with IT. So visit a booth and talk to our course advisors about what option might be right for you. And also our Deputy Dean Education, Matt Butler, is going to be giving a number of live presentations, really taking you through what our undergraduate course offerings are. So I hope I've given you a bit of an idea today on what the options are here at Monash and where IT studies might take you, because whatever the future holds, IT is going to be at its centre. It's great to have had a chance to speak with you today, and I'm now going to be available for some Q&A. So I am now going to see what sort of questions come through on the chat for me. Okay, so the first question I've got, what's the difference between software engineering and software development? Well, software engineering is actually an engineering specialisation that's accredited by Engineers Australia. So there's certain kinds of additional requirements to get that engineering accreditation. I guess there's a particular focus on large-scale building of software systems and the quality assurance that you need. It's a bit like when you're building a bridge or a building or a power station. You have to really make sure that it goes through very rigorous engineering design specification and so on. So our software engineering degree is accredited in that way. Now, software development, there's a lot of overlap, of course, with the software engineering because it's around building software, but our software development major sits into our broader Bachelor of Information Technology degree, which is a 3-year degree, not the 4-year software engineering. And in that sense, there's a bit more flexibility, probably not quite as much in depth, and it's not an accredited engineering degree, but I assure you that our software development graduates come out with really core practical software skills. And I should say that some people think that IT and sort of software development and software engineering are only just programming, but there's far more about building a large-scale, robust, well-designed software system than just the programming, although that's one of the core skills. I guess that's hopefully that gives an idea of that difference. Is there an IT major where anyone is interested in both hardware and software? So in our Bachelor of Information Technology degree, we have a major called Networks and Security. And so students in that major also cover some of the fundamentals of operating system, which is the level between the hardware and the software. If you're more interested in the hardware, there is an opportunity to do a double degree with engineering and either the Bachelor of IT or Computer Science. So that means you can do more of the hardware as the part of the engineering degree and more of the software in your Computer Science or IT. What courses in IT do not require coding? This one's a tricky one. We do have the Business Information Systems major in our undergraduate degree, and we have a master's in it. They are mostly around the design and designing systems that meet sort of needs in business in particular. And the people that work as business analysts don't usually do the coding. But what we do say is we want all of our graduates to at least done 1 or 2 coding units, because it's pretty hard to be designing a system and working with the software developers if you really don't know what coding is. So it's a bit like you do some of the fundamentals. So you do a little bit of coding. It's not your main area and you wouldn't go out there and then work as a coder, but you do have a little bit of those studies in your degree. So lots of questions about our degrees. Now, I would say that I'm not necessarily the expert on this, and to remind you that our Deputy Dean Education is giving a number of presentations. We'll cover this in more detail over the course of Open Day, and also you can go and ask the people, course advisors at our booths. However, what I'll say here is some of it's around the element of sort of the balance between theory and practice. Now, all of our graduates come out able to actually apply their skills in a practical sense. However, the computer science degree probably has a little bit more focus on the theory and analytical side of the software system. So there's a lot more focus on what we call algorithms and data structures. And there's a couple of theory units, and the students in computer science have to do first year maths. And so they have to come in having done maths methods. So for students that are not as strong in that maths background, or a bit more focused on, say, in the Bachelor of IT, we have a games development major and interactive media major. That's a lot more of our creative people. So even though they might do coding, they wouldn't do the same sort of theoretical analysis and need that same maths background as in the computer science degree. So less maths and theory in IT compared with computer science, but again, everyone still does a little bit of everything as part of that sort of fundamental education that we've got to give you. So how does IT Monash different from other GO8 schools such as Melbourne? Well, Melbourne has the Melbourne model, which is a little bit different with the 3+2 model. But I would say that roughly the core curriculum in computer science and IT would be offered by Melbourne Uni, and of course by other universities such as RMIT, La Trobe and so on, Deakin, Swinburne. There'll be a difference with Melbourne because they don't have the opportunity for double degrees. They have more breadth components that just changes the mix a little bit. But I would say that, Australian universities in general, especially the GR8, all offer good educations. Of course, I think that we've got some special things to offer here at Monash, and certainly the way we have double degrees is a point of differentiation. Can you learn IT in Bachelor of Science? Yes. So in the Bachelor of Science degree, there is a major called Computational Science, and that's actually taught by Faculty of IT academics, and we kind of own that major. And a lot of the subjects in that Computational Science major come from our Bachelor of Computer Science degree. The difference is that a major in science is only 8 units, whereas if you do a Bachelor of Computer Science, you'll do 16 or 24 units in computer science. So it's a little bit of how much. So those computational science major subjects are taught by us and are really a subset of the full computer science degree. is there a scholarship to promote women in IT? And if so, what does the ATAR need? Oh, I'm not sure I can answer that. We definitely do have some scholarships to encourage more women in IT. I must admit, it's still a challenge for us, as obviously someone who is a woman in IT and who's had a great career, and actually I really love it as well. I've always been disappointed that we still haven't seen the numbers of girls and women coming into the area. So we do have a Women in IT scholarship, and I believe that there's not a fixed ATAR for it. We have a certain number that we offer, and we offer the highest scoring ATARs of the people who come in, but I'd need to get someone to check that. So it's yes, it's 50 per year. Someone's just sent me a note on the chat to give me that, and it's $6,000 for the first year, and that's 50 women, and so it's not a ATAR cutoff. It's the top 50 women that we get. So I'm not sure how we're going on time and whether we have any other questions. So I can take some other questions. I'm just waiting for a question to come through. What are some of the minors provided by Monash? So minors are 4 subjects, or 4 units as we call them, that you take that are a sequence, and they're often the first 4 units of a major. So if you're not sure that you want to commit to 8 units in a major, you can take 4 units, which is a smaller amount. So there would be you can take minors in cybersecurity, networks, the games, and so on. So, and there's a few additional ones, and I can't remember them off the top of my head, but basically it gives you a lot of flexibility. So typically in the Bachelor of Information Technology, you have to do a major, that's that 8-unit sequence, but then you've got room to do 1 or 2 minors. And you can also take minors from any other part of the university in either your Bachelor of Computer Science or your Bachelor of IT. Now I've got what's the difference between the Bachelor of Computer Science and the Bachelor of Advanced Computer Science? So the Bachelor of Computer Science is a 3-year degree. And typically the ATAR is somewhere between 83 to 85. The Bachelor of Computer Science Advanced with Honours is actually a 4-year degree, because after the Bachelor of Computer Science, traditionally you've done an extra honours year, but you enrol in it separately, whereas the Bachelor of Computer Science Advanced with Honours is 4 years right from the start, and along the way you do a couple of extra research focused units preparing you for that 4th year of honours research, and that is a degree where it's a 95 plus ATAR. So really it's around for very high achieving students who are particularly interested in taking advantage of the research that's done at Monash and incorporating that into their undergraduate degree. Doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to go on and do a PhD, although it would be a pathway to that. But it does stretch and be a little more challenging for those students who want that from their studies. So just a reminder, that we do have a session in this auditorium at 1:30 by Matt Butler, our Deputy Dean Education, talking about Learn, Grow and Succeed with a Monash Bachelor of IT or Computer Science degree. So he'll explain all our courses. Is it possible to learn IT if anyone partakes in engineering majors? Okay, so if you do an engineering degree, you get a little bit of elective space that you can take a few computer science or IT units, but typically would only be 4 or so. What you can do is do a double degree with engineering and computer science or IT. So that takes you 5 years because you're combining the 4-year engineering degree and a 3-year Bachelor of Computer Science and IT. You kind of use up some elective space and it's 5 years. And that's one way to combine engineering with IT and computer science. I've got a question about with study abroad, do other Monash campuses offer the same course structure? So the Monash University Malaysia campus teaches exactly the same degrees that we have here, computer science and software engineering. They don't offer the Bachelor of Information Technology, but they do have a number of the subjects from the Bachelor of IT, so you can go there and still progress a semester of your studies depending on the particular subjects that you need to take. Another question, they're all coming in, that's good. Do students majoring in network and cybersecurity have a chance for participating in practices, e.g. virtual cyber war? Well, okay, I don't know about cyber wars. We do have coding clubs, and we have opportunities for hackathons. Some of our students actually practice and go in kind of programming contests and do pretty well. And so that's general coding. I think some of the hackathons might have a focus on cybersecurity. We're certainly not going to be teaching you to be the hackers. We're going to be teaching you, though, to protect our systems from the hackers. Can you pair can you pair an IT undergraduate with a law graduate? You can. I think you need to speak to the law faculty about that, but certainly it's a good combination. We actually have a double degree where you can do law, computer science, and you can also do your IT or computer science first and then do a law degree afterwards. I think that's a great combination because obviously if you want to practice law and work in those areas around the digital society and technology and data and so on, it obviously makes a big difference if you have that expertise in the IT or computer science area. Should we still pick comp sci if we're not fond of coding? That one's a tricky one. I think that certainly computer science is not just coding, but all the way along, even when you're doing theory or some practical units, there is an expectation that you can kind of at least during your assignments and so on, that you'll be able to implement your ideas. I mean, if you design a solution to something, in computer science, the expectation is that you are working in a team with other people will be able to help build that solution as well. Just that the Bachelor of Information Technology and possibly the Business Information Systems degree or the interactive media where there's a lot of design elements would be better suited. If you don't like coding, I wouldn't do software engineering or a straight computer science. And I think we're nearly up for time. It's been great to have so many questions around our courses. Hopefully I've given you a little bit of an idea of it, but just a reminder, lots of people at lots of booths and talks in the auditorium that will give you far more detail than I've been able to today. And I guess I really just want to say to the students and maybe the parents, I mean, I'm actually a parent of a year 11 and a first year uni student. I'm really pleased that my son actually decided to do the engineering computer science double degree at Monash, which I think is, a really great option for him. And there are so many opportunities in IT for you to go. I can't even describe them all here today. And I don't even know where they're going to go. If you think how much has changed in the last 30 years that I've been in this area, who knows what the next 30 is going to behold, but it's going to be really exciting. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. And I hope that you really enjoy the rest of Open Day.